Hello, Mana here, and today we are checking out Mega Knockdown, a fast-paced fighting game that anyone can play because it's turn-based. Strike, evade, and punish. Knock them down and press the advantage. Meet colourful hand-drawn characters and challenge your friends to an epic battle of wits. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to receive a key for this, so a big thank you to developers. And yeah, I just want to check it out a bit. I'm going to be doing this in a pretty simple format. I'm just going to do a bit of an intro here, tell you guys a few things. I'm going to do a handful of fights where I will not be talking, and then we'll come back at the end and I'll do a bit of a mini review type of thing. Yeah, a bit different than I normally do, but I did that for a couple of racing games and kind of thought it worked well, so yeah, I don't know, I'm just, I don't know, it just interested me because the game kind of like when I originally saw it had a bit of a kind of like Tekken, Street Fighter kind of vibe, but obviously being turn-based, which I was mainly curious both just by the idea of that, but also like how well it could be executed because, you know, that those are very, I don't know, it's cool, like just hearing about it, but it's like I do genuinely question how well that could work because they don't seem to really mix well together. Yeah, I don't know, I just thought it would be interesting. And just from getting on this like main page here, it does look like there's a good amount of options, which is always nice to see. There's a tutorial, which there's like a 20 parts of this, which I'll also say just as like should be noted for like the gameplay you see if you watch that, or if you want to skip to my review, which I'll have chapters for. I'm gonna skip all these, which, you know, maybe a smart thing to do, maybe not. Because like on one hand, I like that there's obviously like detailed tutorials. That's cool. But also, like, I feel this type of game where I really just want to be able to, like, jump in, and so 20 tutorials is a little daunting to me, but also can't really fault having that. Like, that's obviously a good thing to have, so, yeah. But yeah, there's also training against just a dummy, there's replays, there is online and local versus. The arcade has a kind of like story mode type of tournaments, got just an endless survival game. Just one-on-one, and there is the pole zone, which I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, it seems like it kind of covers a lot of like, at least for me with these type of games, though not turn-based obviously. I played Tekken a lot as a kid, Tekken 3 especially, so seeing a lot of these like kind of makes me think back to that, and it seems to kind of cover everything, which is cool. Haven't heard any other music, but at least this menu music is very good so far. And yeah, the only thing I would probably say on the potential negatives, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It does seem like the character roster is pretty small, but we'll kind of see on that. I don't know if I can like just probably open it here. Yeah. So I think, I'm assuming, yeah, it's random. Okay. Yeah, so it's a pretty small character roster. That's probably the only kind of potential negative I've seen so far. Which is more like not a negative as much as I feel like it's just you kind of want more. It is still early access, so it is possible that they'll be expanded on, but it has also been in early access for I think at least a couple years now, so you know, also not necessarily a bad thing, but just something to be kind of aware of and stuff. And yeah, yeah, I'll have a link in the description if you want to check out more and all that stuff, but otherwise, I think I'm just going to jump into some matches, and I'm skipping the tutorial, so keep that in mind for what you see and what you hear later. I will make sure to note it again, but I'm probably going to just doing some one-on-one. Might try out like at least a match with each character, mix up who I'm versing. I'll have like chapters in the description, so you guys can like skip along to whatever you want to see. But yeah, just hope you guys are doing well, and thank you for watching. And if I do anything else like this in the future, I'm kind of doing, you know, intro, uncommented, then mini review style thing. Feedback for the format, because I don't know. Yeah. Be well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the end. Thank you.
Knockdown! Fight! Knockdown! Fight! Knockdown! Fight!
Okay, so I've now had a chance to play each of the characters as well as verse each of the characters, and I definitely have some thoughts. This should be considered very much a first impressions mini review type of thing. This is by no means in depth. I skipped the tutorial just to note that again. And yeah, I just want to share some thoughts, and I think there's some good and some bad from what I've played so far. Some of the bad, subjective, but yeah, so I would say on the good, kind of coming back to what I said in the intro, just to note it again though, I do think there is a very good amount of options here with everything, being there is kind of the tournament story mode style thing, there's match to match, there's survival, so you got the tutorial training, replays, you got online versus, local versus, you know, I think you kind of got all the bases covered there for this type of game, so I think that's really good. I think the music is good. All of the characters did feel different, but I probably haven't played them enough to really say how different they are. I think all the designs are very different. Some of them definitely stand out more than others. But yeah, I also do think that at least from what I played what it's going for has been done well. Because it obviously is meant to be essentially a Street Fighter style game, but done turn-based. Which is one of the things said, like, it does come off as interesting, but also, like, does that actually work? And I think what they have here does work. But one thing that did get a little bit stuck with me with how it's set up is that I do kind of worry that, and it's, I don't know, this is a mixed one. It's just something that kind of stuck with me personally, is that I couldn't help but think that this is a game where kind of studying and memorizing outside of the game is going to yield you far more results to your skill than actually playing the game. Because every single character in any given circumstance, basically how much distance you have being one of the big ones, also factoring in your opponent. So it is somewhere like, yeah, you do need to know your character and the opponent, because depending on how much of a gap there is between at any given time, there's only so many different moves that are going to be made that are going to be like good or bad from you or the opponent. So knowing all the moves that you can make, how much distance they take up, as well as what your opponents could do, is always going to kind of bring any given situation down to there being a couple of good options, or a couple of the best options, basically. And I feel like it would take a lot to really just play the game over and over and over and kind of learn that to where you're like just flowing with it very freely, as opposed to like studying it a lot outside of the actual game, the actual matches. If that's making sense. Like, I think if I did just keep doing rounds after rounds after rounds, I would definitely get more and more of a feel. But it seems like, yeah, just learning exactly what every character can do and judging each move based on that would, yeah, you'd always have the best results. And I feel like depending on, I don't know, it feels like that could really get a very slow flow going. I was kind of going pretty quick with it. I was trying not to think about it that much other than when something kind of worked, and I kept going with it. Because I feel like you'd otherwise sit there kind of thinking, okay, so they have this move, this move, this move at this distance, and okay, I can do this move, and I don't know, I feel like you get a bit calculated there. So I said, like, I feel like what they've done here is a good feeling version of what they were going for, but I do think it's going to be, I guess all this comes down to, like, I feel like it's a more niche game than I would have thought of potentially. Because, like, it's not just a turn-based game. Because when I think of turn-based, like, I think of, like, JRPGs and stuff. I think of things like Dragon Quest. That's kind of turn-based in my head. And this is a very different type of turn-based. This is far more... I think you can play it. I think this is one where maybe it is best played with, like, friends and stuff, versus if you're playing with the AI and harder options, it's going to come down to more and more of those really learning and calculating, which can be fun if you're into that type of thing, but it's very different than probably the free flow skill, like, because there is still a learning to say something like playing Street Fighter, like, outside of it, but getting used to, like, sort of the button combinations and just the skill level that you're really building up through playing is a lot more direct compared to something like this, I think. So yeah, it's not like a bad thing necessarily. It's just I think that perhaps compared to my simple idea of turn-based, the turn-based that this like has is going to be a lot more niche than what I first thought when I just went into it being curious about it. I hope that kind of made sense. There's also like kind of a handful of other things. One random thing was I was a bit confused about some animations that Marv had. I couldn't tell if they were stylized or placeholder. I think they were actually placeholder, but I don't know. None of the other characters, because they kind of have that black and white look they have, but then Marv for some reason had these like really sketched ones, and they looked like actual kind of the kind of messy draw and placeholder animation. I don't know. I was a bit confused by that. You'll see it if you watch that particular fight. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm definitely mixed on this one. I kind of didn't know where to land with it, because there's things where I could definitely see myself enjoying more of it, but I couldn't imagine coming back to this over and over and over again. But the reason I was kind of stuck a bit because I feel like that's more the type of game than this is, rather than their execution. I think it's in this weird spot where I'm someone who absolutely prefers turn-based in general. I love things like Dragon Quest, as that example again, like I love that turn-based. But if I was going for something like this or Tekken, then I'd go Tekken. And I do have a lot of nostalgia for Tekken just because it's a childhood game, but and I don't play them these days. I just don't really play them kind of games anymore. I am someone who plays mostly turn-based stuff these days, but I would prefer the real time. So, and I think that's just because there's less thinking in those, which I think, I don't know. I'm sorry, I've circled back and forth a little here, and I don't know where I land. I like it. I would play more of it. I'd be curious about the tournament side, because I do believe that has some kind of you get to see a bit more of the characters and stuff. But in terms of just like versing the AI, it just feels like the tournament would be fun to check out for that reason, but just doing it over and over, I think there's just too much calculating for a game where I want it to be very free-flowing, I guess. Yeah. And again, coming back to the characters, I do think more would be really good. It is a really small roster, honestly. And yeah, I don't know, because I said it has been in early access for like a couple of years now, so I don't know their plans for characters, but yeah, I think more would definitely be good. Something I did also want to check on that I really should is whenever I went to a new character, I scrolled through their different colors that were available, and each of them had like a supporter DLC available, which I was quite curious about. But I didn't see that initially in the DLC. Oh, sorry, I see. So there is, yeah, supporter colors. And it looks to be a $5 DLC, I'm guessing, because at 5 USD, it's $7.50 in Australia. And I don't know what else that does, because... And the fact that it's called supporter makes me think it's like extra support, but... I don't know, I was very mixed on just when I saw it, the idea of paying for colors, just because of how simple the character designs are in terms of like, there isn't like crazy shading or anything like that. They look good, I'm not saying simple in a bad way. But because of how those designs are, I imagine recolors are pretty low effort. They really wouldn't take much at all. So paying for like, 6 recolors essentially, I'm a bit mixed on that. But I assume, just want to double check. More palettes going to be locked behind this DLC. Right now there are 5 basic color swaps per character, and this DLC adds 1 more. We plan to add several more color palettes, but we don't plan to charge for them. Okay, so yeah, I guess this is ultimately more of a wanting to support the developers a bit more type of DLC, and I think that's fine. It's just, it's mixed between like, that is a concept is totally fine, but it's still in effect paying for a very basic kind of extra color. So, I don't know, because it's like, if people want to have them all, they've kind of got to pay it. In most cases, you're going to have people like, if they want that, they're going to pay for it because they want that, not just to support. So, yeah, I don't know. It feels like with stuff like that, it can be often better to promote a Patreon or like something that gives like an option for people who do really want to go out of their way for extra support, as opposed to kind of paywalling something basic. Yeah, I don't know. It's a mixed one. I feel like I can go in circles on it. It's not a bad thing. It can just come across a little when you're really weighing up the value of it. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I'm really glad I checked this out. I did want to like play it more. Maybe I'll try like streaming the tournament at some point or something. As I said, I don't know. yeah, I don't know. I do see why there is tutorial there now, because I think there's definitely a decent learning curve here, in a good way. It's just, I think the thing that I'm so curious about is like, how many people into, say, Street Fighter or Tekken would this appeal to? And if not, like, because I think there's an audience for this. I do wonder who that audience is, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, I kind of figured going in that as someone who kind of liked Tekken a lot as a kid, I don't really play them kind of games anymore. Not because I don't like them, I just kind of faded away in different types of games nowadays, you know, all that. But I love turn-based. So I kind of thought perhaps being someone who used to play something like Tekken, and nowadays playing a lot of turn-based, I thought maybe that would make me kind of the perfect candidate for this game. But after playing just a bit, I still like it. It's just, it doesn't hit that kind of thing that I thought it was going to hit for me. Because all I could kind of see when playing was that there really is a lot more to learn here than I expected. And that's not bad, it's just... I don't know, I guess when I think of, say, going back to Dragon Quest again, it's kind of like you've got your different attacks, you've got your resource pools, and you don't really have to often think that much to make a decision about what you're going to do. You know, you've got certain items you can use, you've got a certain amount of magic, you got a certain amount of health, and you got your set of attacks. It doesn't often take a lot of calculating to really know what you're going to do. Whereas in this, you've kind of got your different kind of move pools. You've got like, you know, you can move in different directions combined with, you know, blocking or attacking, but it isn't just your side. Whereas like in a, say like Dragon Quest or something, while you do need to factor what the enemy can do, it's really about what you're doing. There might be certain cases where you do want to defend to not get knocked out, or like there can be exceptions where you really have to factor what they're going to do. But for the most part, it is about what you're doing, and you're often dealing with the consequences of what they do afterwards. It's not always that simple, but for the most part. Whereas in this, it's not really like that. You kind of need to be calculating your move based on what they can do. Which, so it just adds a lot of, it's like, it reminds me a bit more of like chess. Not that it's that complicated, obviously, but it kind of makes me think about like that a little more, where it's like chess is turn-based, but you've really got to be thinking about all the possible moves you can do to a degree, and all they can do type of thing. And I think you're dealing with that in a kind of one-on-one kind of thing, and it just kind of makes me think it's more niche than I first realized, and I do wonder kind of who gets the most out of that, or if a lot of people playing it just do multiplayer, which I think can probably work better, because I don't know, I'm kind of circling a bit. I didn't have like a ton of thoughts, but I did have some and just want to share, and it's fun to check out. And I don't know, let me know what you thought, if you've checked this out at all, or if I think I'm wrong about any of this or anything, because again, it's from a limited experience, but I just thought we'd check it out, interesting, and I don't know, I like to ramble a bit, and in the end, I think it's a cool product. I think it's got good music, I think it's got a good amount of options, and, you know, it's, like I said, it's been in early access a while, but it does seem like it is still receiving updates and everything. I saw there was a matchmaking update, like, just within this last week, so the developers are clearly still working on it and that, so, you know, that's cool. I don't know, I wish them all the best, and for anyone this is for, hopefully they find it. So thank you very much for listening. Hope I didn't forget anything, and be well, have a good rest of your day. Thank you again. And I said feedback on the format of this. I think I need to take more notes, maybe. That's probably one good thing. I get pretty scatterbrained as it goes, if you're familiar. Alright, be well. Thank you again. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye. Wait, did I say thank you for watching? Thank you for watching. Be well. Bye-bye.